is in Surah 4 and the other is in Surah 2. Let's start with Surah 4. It's probably the easiest. We're going to look at 4 verses. Now you're a good Muslim. I want you to help me here, as a good Muslim, to interpret these verses. Surah 4, starting with Ayah 3.
Teach the people of the Quran. Thank you. They never read the Quran.
And if you fear that you shall not be able to deal justly with the orphan girls, then marry women of your choice, 3 or 4. 2, 3. How many women can you have?
You can't be just marry only 1.
2, 3, or 4. But if you fear that you shall not be able to deal justly, then only 1.
Verse 21 says,
or slaves that your right hand possesses. Or slaves that your right hand possesses. As many concubines above and beyond the 4 wives. Now, hold on a minute. We've got 2 problems there, don't we? 2 problems there already. You can have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Should we allow that for Britain today? Do you want us to start bringing polygamy into Britain today?
I'm going to go and mess with the Qur'an.
Jesus didn't even marry, he had not even 1 wife. Jesus didn't even need a wife.
He's going to get married.
No, but how many wives are we permitted in Britain?
He's not going to follow British law, he's going to follow God's
Then
law.
what does the Bible say? How many wives can you have?
The Bible says have as many as you can.
It says nothing of the law.
For faithfulness between a man and a woman. And the reason the Bible says
can you open
faithfulness
Exodus chapter 20, verse 21 and read it for us?
You see, God's requirement
Open Exodus chapter 20, verse 21.
and the father from the beginning of their life.
When we're talking about marriage, we follow Muhammad and Moses, not Jesus. They say Jesus needed to marry. If you follow Jesus 2,000 years ago, he would be
See that in 1 Timothy as well. That is repeated by Paul, does he not? 1 wife for 1 husband and 4 wives. Not 2, not 3, not 4.
Marry as
So
much
women,
Allahu
are you
Akbar.
willing
He
to
says Abraham, Moses, David, Solomon, Jacob was wrong, and David Cameron is right.
Now let me help me here. Why should you have more than 1 wife?
He says,
Why does a man
all
need
Israel from Israel. David Cameron.
Can't use Viagra. They need for sexual stimulation. What do you think of that?
What they're trying to do is throw the conversion to death.
Exodus.
According to Obama or David Cameron, one woman, 1 man. According to the Bible, no. According to Islam, they can do more.
Before we even get into that, can a woman have more than 1 husband? In Islam, in Qur'an, can a woman have 2 or 3 or 4? Why is it a man can have 2 or 3 or 4, but a woman cannot have 2 or 3 or 4? Is that equal? No. Is this book have equality? No.
How you come to know who the father is?
So you believe?
He is naive. The woman gives birth to children. They can't compare.
Do I look like an idiot? It's not a perfectly good question to ask. Is there equality in marriage?
No equality in Islam. Woman gives birth to
You
children.
already said there's inequality according to the Quran in marriage.
Woman gives birth to children.
Let's
No
move
more
on.
men. It's impossible.
Ayah 24. Surah 4, Ayah 24 says that a man can have as many women as his right hand possesses. What does that mean, Sid?
That means a man can also have sex with his slaves. Those are your right hand.
That's what the Bible says. That's what the Bible says.
So these are slaves of
That's what you
war.
call concubines.
These are women that are taken as slaves of
They
war.
don't know the Bible.
Do you want that for Britain today?
No.
Is that relevant for today?
No.
Is this book relevant for today? slavery? There are two verses in Surah 4 in this Qur'an that show you that men are unequal to women, that men have it above women, that only men can have it before wives. You can't have it in the other way around.
Says a man should not allow his wife to work. Is that relevant for today?
Said that you are responsible for the woman. She is not responsible for herself. Which means, already, you can see, folks, there's inequality in verse 3, there's inequality in verse 5, there's inequality in verse 24. But hold on a minute. Are we to have slaves today? No. Do we agree with slavery today? Does Jesus stand against slavery? What does it say in Galatians 3:28? What does it say in Galatians 3:28?
I swear to God, being African. Jesus was a refugee in Africa. The Bible says he ran away from Herod. Am I right? You are naive. Am I right? Open John. I like the Bible. Matthew chapter 2.
Let's read the whole context.
Wait, Jesus.
On a woman.
Did the Muslims stop slavery? No.
The Bible says we help to have Jesus.
What was William William? Was he a Muslim?
He's a Christian member of the House of Commons. And he devoted his whole life to take the beating.
And why did he end slavery?
Where is he? Because he was a Christian and believed it was wrong.
Where did he find that in the Bible?
Can you ask him why in the Bible it says, cut your wife's hand off? Please ask him. Can you ask him? Why are you ignoring me, Jay? Jay, why are you ignoring me? Why does the Bible say, if me and you are fighting, if I was interfered, I should cut the hand off?
Does Jesus say that? No. Does Jesus say that? Is that in the New
Does the
Testament?
Bible say that?
Do we follow Mosaic law?
Yes.
No, we don't.
Jesus
Do
said,
we follow
I do not
Jesus?
come to break the law,
Yes,
but
we
to
do.
fulfill.
Get the right one. It's Jesus.
Does he say, cut your
There
wife
it is right there. Does Jesus say to cut off your hand? No. Does Jesus say we can cut off any hand? No. Does Jesus say we can use the sword? No. What does Jesus say? Put away your sword. He who lives by the sword dies by the sword. Come on back to Jesus. What does the Quran say? Come on back to Jesus. Did Muhammad use the sword?
He absolutely
Did
did.
he use it against women?
Absolutely.
What about Asma bin Marwan? What about Asma bin Marwan? What did Muhammad do to Asma bin Marwan when she wrote poetic verse against Muhammad? You remember? He had her not only her throat slit, but he had to drag the knife through her heart like she was suckling her baby. Now that's not my story. That comes from Ibn Hisham. That comes from Al-Bukhari Wakili. That comes from Ibn Hisham. I'm giving you three different sources for that story. How did Jesus do that?
Absolutely not.
So look at Muhammad, look at Jesus, look at what Muhammad did with women, and look what Jesus did with women. What did Jesus do with women?
Jesus honored women. Jesus allowed prostitutes to come and speak to them. And the first people Jesus saw was the resurrection for women.
Remember the story of Mary and Martha. Martha was in the kitchen. Mary was sitting at Jesus' feet. Martha says to Mary, come back into the kitchen. What did Jesus say?
Mary's chosen a better place.
Mary has taken.
Mary's chosen a better place.
Yet this was Jewish law, was it not? Under Jewish law, no woman could sit at the rabbi's feet. Yet Jesus was taking 1,000 years of tradition and turning it on its head, allowing a woman to sit at a rabbi's feet. Oh, I love Jesus. What does that mean? Jesus. I can't hear you. Jesus. We love Jesus too. You have no Jesus is. You have no idea who Jesus is. Let's go back to the Quran.
Let's go back.
Surah 4, ayah 24 says that they can have slaves of war. Do we allow slavery today? And why do we not allow slavery today?
Why does your Bible say I'm
Because of William
King
Wilberforce.
Solomon has
Took
700
the
wives.
Bible, followed the Bible, used the Bible, and used it so that in 1809,
Why is 300
he destroyed slavery.
Jay, why is 300 The guy who paid my mansion, the guy who paid my mansion doesn't mean. Why is
Destroyed slavery because of his Bible,
Tell us why
not because of the Quran. If he had used the Quran, we'd still have slavery today. Oh, hold on a minute. Is there slavery today? Yes, there is. Slavery still exists today. Go to Mauritania. Go to Sudan. Only in Muslim countries does slavery still exist today because of this book. This book encourages to have slaves. Surah 4, ayah 24. Read it for yourself. I could be lying. Come back and see and compare the Bible. Compare Jesus with Muhammad. Compare the New Testament with the Quran. And show me which is more equal. Now see, what do we always
Okay, I'm currently concerned with how women are treated in the Bible.
What did the donkey do?
We haven't yet confirmed.
The testimony of a woman is half of that of a man. So the testimony
Why do you
here,
put your
hold
wife's
on.
hand up in the Bible?
Do you want that for printed today?
No.
Do you want half the testimony of a man?
You want your hands cut
Yet
off?
there you find it, Surah 2, ayah 282.
Your wife
My Jesus says we are to cut off any hand. Jesus never lets us use the sword. Jesus says to put away the sword. Jesus never said that we should cut off our hands. Why?
Why does the Bible say cut your wife's hand
In
off?
marriage.
Why?
What about if your
Why
wife
cut your wife's hand
leaves
off?
you in marriage?
That's what I want to know.
Wait, say it again.
Why does the Bible
What
say
happens
cut
in the
your wife's hand off?
Quran
Why?
if your wife
Why would
leaves
you
you
cut your
in
wife's hand
marriage?
off? Why do you
You
cut your
are
wife's
to
hand off?
admonish them first.
First
Why
admonish.
does
If that doesn't work, you throw them from the bed.
Throw her from the bed.
If that doesn't work, you then beat them.
Beat her.
Surah 4, ayah 34. Surah 4, ayah 35. Why is it that you can beat your wives? Why is it you can beat your wife according to the Quran? According to the Quran. Surah 4, ayah 34. Surah 4, ayah 34 in your Quran says that a man can beat his wife. I want to hear a response. They're being killed in Nigeria by Boko Haram. By Boko Haram. And who is Boko Haram? They are Muslims killing Christians in Nigeria. Muslims killing Christians in Nigeria. Muslims killing Christians. Who is Boko Haram? Who is Boko Haram? Read it. No, it's the other way around. Get your facts.
Have you got YouTube?
Are you from
Watch it.
And who's killing who in Nigeria? There you go. Get it right. Okay, good. Sit. No good. So in Surah 4, ayah 34, Surah 4, ayah 34, a woman can be beaten by her husband.
Killing Muslims.
Do you want that imprinted today? No. Should we start beating our women? No. So what are you going to do?
What answer were you given, Jay, in debate? A Muslim man in debate said some women like to be beaten by their husband.
That's Dr. Azam Tamimi. Dr. Azam Tamimi said. Dr. Azam Tamimi said, I know some women that love to be beaten. Do you women love to be beaten?
Do you want the hand cut off?
Here.
Who wants the hand
love
cut
to
off?
be beaten?
Do you want your hand cut off?
Because according to the Quran,